I was a complete amateur for 10 years, not knowing I was an amateur for 10 years. Because you don't know what you don't know. So I was doing exactly as you talk about, working to try and save. That's the deposit. And then it took me like 10 years to get 7 properties. And I thought I was doing great because everyone else around me didn't have 7 properties. So I must be doing something right.
So the 7 that you had before you actually took your training, what did you end up doing with them? Did you keep them? Did you sell them?
We still have them. When I looked at the formulas and the deal analysis skills that the professionals were using, I realized that my deals probably weren't deals, or the properties that I owned were probably not as good deals as I thought they were. So what I did was I learned about other strategies that I could maximize the return I could get out of these properties that probably weren't performing very well. So I still got them, and I kind of just ring fenced them and said, well, that's the cost of not knowing what I was doing. And now I'll just start afresh over here doing this correctly, and that will just outweigh the mistakes I made over the last 10 years.
So you didn't have to sell, cut your losses and move on?
No. I just used the knowledge and the training that I got to just ring fence it and consolidate it to help me start afresh. Yeah.
And I guess over the years, over time, they end up, they've probably gone up in value. Well, depending, I know kind of what area they're in. Do they go up in value? They're like my Grimsby stuff. They don't really go up much.
Yeah. Well, this is it. A lot of people buy property for the capital growth. But in actual fact, you want to be buying properties that perform well on a cash flow basis as opposed to capital growth, because capital growth doesn't really pay for your lifestyle, right?
You can't bank on it either. So you might buy with the hope or expectation that they're going to go up in value. And then, property crash comes along and you've actually ended up losing value. If you've not bought for cash flow, then you're in quite an uncomfortable situation because you've got nothing coming in to support that. You're having to feed that one property. And if you expected to then be able to maybe save to buy another one, you're actually having to use your savings just to feed that one that you bought.
Yeah. And that's why I just love the whole concept that we talk about in our teaching, our whole network of students use, is that whole money into a deal, money out of a deal, get the property, get the asset for free, and then you get the income for the rest of your life. And most people don't really understand the concept of getting properties for free. That just seems too outlandish.
You can't, they think you can't get anything for free. Why should you be able to get a house for free?
Yeah. But if you follow a system and a process that other people are using, and that the banks expect you to do, then you can amass a really decent property portfolio quite quickly once you get into the groove of having the right people around you to help you, leveraging off other people's experience and knowledge, surrounding yourself with the right people, and understanding the whole system from start to finish.
And a lot of ours have been money in, money out, and we've got them for free. Other ones we've had to leave some money in, but we're not talking about £50,000-60,000 for a buy to let. For a buy to let, we're looking at a maximum of about £6,000, and then with the cash flow, that kind of creates about a 40% ROI, which again, it's unheard of. Most people, they think I'm never going to be able to get a 40% ROI, and even not necessarily a bad deal, but the kind of the worst type of deal we're going to do, that's roughly where our ROI is actually sitting at.
Yeah. And if you get your money out of the deal within a 2 to 3 year period, then you're still getting an infinite return on your investment once the money's out.
Exactly. So it's everything is, all the money does come out in a short time frame. It's just sometimes it's all done on refinance. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Yeah,
exactly. So it's a simple process, but it's not easy. That's what I keep always saying to every student I train, is simple, but it's not easy.
And that's a phrase that we put in our private finance document as well, because we don't want our angels reading it and going, oh, I'm just going to go off and do this myself. So again, we kind of use that. It is a simple process. It might seem easy on paper. The challenge is actually getting out there, going to do it, taking the action, knowing what to do, having the right systems in place, which is why all the tools that we at Property Wealth System actually give to our students to get them to move forwards. It makes their life a lot easier when they're out in the field buying properties.
Exactly. So if you want to know more about what James and I are talking about here, make sure that you join us for your next 90-minute free webinar, Kickstart webinar, and we'll show you, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the topics we've been talking about today.